Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 1st October 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. The stage is set for regionally regulated CBI programs. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. An interim regulatory commission is now in place after the appointment of its members in a move that is expected to lead to the setting up of the regional regulator of the citizenship by investment programs operating in some OECS member states. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
The formation of a regulatory body was accepted in the Memorandum of Agreement that was signed by all CBI operating countries in the OECS. The regional regulator will come into being with the enactment of legislation in each of the participating countries. Specifically, the CBI regional regulator, when formed, will establish standards, regulate the programs in keeping with best international practices, and monitor and report on compliance. Members appointed to the Interim Regional Commission are as follows. From the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Mr. Timothy Antoine, who will serve as a chairperson. From Antigua and Barbuda, Lieutenant Colonel Edward Croft, serving as the deputy chairperson. From the Commonwealth of Dominica, Ambassador Francine Barron. From Grenada, Miss Julia Lawrence. From St. Kitts and Nevis, Archdeacon Isaiah Phillip. From St. Lucia, Mr. Everitus Jean-Marie. From the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security and the Joint Regional Communications Center, Mr. Rufus Ferdinand, and from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission, Mr. Kenneth Gabriel. It is understood that the Interim Regional Commission will be charged with fully developing the plans for the regional CBI regulator and for its implementation, and will function in that capacity until the first board of the regional regulator is appointed. Glenn Bart reporting for SK News.
Government says it is one step closer to meeting its promises to former Petrotrin employees. Trinidad and Tobago's Minister in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Adrian Leonce, acknowledged the long wait by the former employees to realize their dream of home ownership. This as the latest approved applications received their lots. More in this TTT News item with Stacey and Providence.
Today's distribution of residential lots for first-time homeowners, as well as agricultural plots for those interested in agricultural pursuits, bring these citizens that much closer to realizing their long-held ambition of home ownership. We have long realized that this ambition is not only held by the former Petrotrin employees, but it is a dream of this government for every single citizen of this country.
Minister Adrian Leonce, speaking on behalf of Housing Minister Camille Robinson-Regis. He said this is why the government continues to spend a significant part of its annual budget on providing state-subsidized housing solutions to qualified citizens. He responded to those who questioned the time it was taking to distribute the lots.
I wish to remind them that these formerly undeveloped greenfield lands had to be brought to a state where it can be safely handed over to today's recipients. It meant the demarcation of lots, as well as the inclusion of electricity and water lines, and the construction of roads and other forms of access. That could not be completed overnight. The lots, averaging between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet, will provide ample space for you to build the homes you have dreamed of and the quality of life to which you have always aspired.
Minister Lyons assured the former Petrotrin employees that government has not abandoned them.
There has been some rumblings from a few misguided persons surrounding these programs, insinuations that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has abandoned Petrotrin workers who would have dedicated much of their lives to the state-owned company's operations. But let me be clear. Today's event stands as proof that this government is delivering on its promises.
Over 150 persons received letters during the Land Settlement Agency's lot distribution ceremony at the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts in San Fernando. Stacey Ann Providence, TDT News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
St. Lucia erupted in jubilation on Tuesday last as track sensation Julian Alfred touched down on the home soil.
The parking lot outside the UNORA International Airport in Vieux-Fort on Tuesday were lined with cheering crowds as Olympic champion Julian Alfred made a triumphant return to St. Lucia. Senator Gideon Ferdinand praised Alfred's impact on the nation.
I think the whole of St. Lucia is elated. Julian is arriving, and I think we are all aligning the streets to welcome her home. We all know of her achievement. I think 3 medals in the last month or so, 2 Olympic, 1 gold, 1 silver, and a Diamond League. So Julian has really elevated our noses, as we say, and today I see students here, I see all people from all walks of life in this country here to welcome her. Incidentally, the St. Lucia Kings are doing very well over in Trinidad. I think they batted first and scored 218. So it looks like today is just a great day for St. Lucia. And at the interview, one of the players was saying that things are rolling well, St. Lucia is doing well. I think we are here to celebrate and bask in the moment with Julian. I look forward to meeting her and celebrating for the rest of this week. We have a number of activities, as you know, culminating on the weekend. And all of St. Lucia is tremendously proud at this time.
Joanna Alfred, Julian's mother, reflected on her daughter's journey.
You can see that they all are very happy. You can tell they're all excited to meet her, proud of the place that she put us, so she's good.
Your daughter is one of the biggest heroes in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Today.
Yes.
Speak to us about it.
Well, I would say yes. I would agree with you. Yes, she is one of the biggest heroes today because of where she came from and where she basically started. And I also want children to learn from that and understand that it doesn't matter where you come from, you can still be where Julian Alfred is. It takes great parenting. Well, I shouldn't say great parenting, but a parent that would support your child. As long as you can support your child, God will do the rest. So everything's going to fall into place.
What about the family structure, apart from a parent?
Well, you know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and indeed it does, because if I didn't have the support of at least Twatine, who when a father passed, he became the father figure in this young lady's life, then again I would have the struggle. So it took a village to raise a child as well.
Was it the food you was giving Julian that have like a...
It was... I think it was not the food on the plate, but I think the food in her mind that really encouraged her, because even when she reached situations, the food I placed in her mind really encouraged her to be where she is.
Housing Minister Richard Frederick highlighted the broader significance.
I am elated, as I was saying earlier, the economic ramifications of Juju's win, our heroine. We have not conceptualize it yet. It has not dawned on us yet. What Juju has done for this country is just unimaginable. I am happy. I am indeed pleased. And trust me, God knows what Juju has done for this country.
As St. Lucia celebrates its newest national hero, Julian Alfred's golden success continues to inspire pride across the island. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown delivered a clarion call to action to tackle existential threats facing Antigua and Barbuda and other small island developing states. He was delivering the nation's statement on Friday afternoon at the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. ABS's Garfield Burford reports.
Prime Minister Brown's opening comments to the United Nations General Assembly regarding the stark global reality were not dissimilar to William Butler Yeats's poem, The Second Coming. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold.
Today, we all stand at the edge of a precipice. Never before has humanity been confronted with such stark choices: to end wars or condemn humanity to endless suffering, to eliminate poverty or watch millions starve, to act on climate change or doom future generations to a scorched planet.
He insisted the choices made today will shape the survival of entire nations and the future of our world. Prime Minister Brown called for unwavering commitment from the global community to the Antigua and Barbuda Agenda for SIDS, the outcome document from the SIDS4 conference in May. One of the key elements of the ABAS is the SIDS Center of Excellence.
I call for unwavering commitment of the international community to the center's success. Our survival depends on it.
The Prime Minister says climate change is a clear and present danger for SIDS such as Antigua and Barbuda. He says the climate crisis is not the future, it is the present. He therefore calls for the world to be serious about ending subsidies to the fossil fuel industry and to make the transition to cleaner energy.
While we recognize that fossil fuels still play a vital role in the energy security of many countries, and we do not expect their production to cease overnight, we should not support companies extracting oil and gas to continue generating extravagant profits at the expense of our planet. It is only fair and just that these companies pay a global levy to fund mitigation efforts and compensation for the damage that they continue to inflict. And this is not punishment, it's climate justice.
He also wants the upcoming COP29 Climate Summit to be a tipping point for another key area of climate justice, the Loss and Damage Fund. The Prime Minister says the time for action is now as the world is hurtling towards a 2.8 degrees Celsius rise in global temperatures, overshooting the 1.5 degree threshold.
Those who preach about a rule-based international order must now lead by example. Rules must apply equally to all, including the mighty, not just to the poor and powerless. At COP29, we expect no further delay in the capitalization and operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund, for which we have struggled so long and certainly so hard. Equity and fairness demand it.
Apart from the climate crisis and climate injustice, the Prime Minister says the world's most vulnerable states also face other crucial challenges. One of them is the inflow of small arms and light weapons, which propel violent crimes into the arena of public health concern. The Prime Minister makes this call.
I call on the United States and other small arms and light weapons producing countries to put systems in place to curb the exportation of these lethal weapons to our shores. They are causing immense harm. This issue is now emerging as a public health epidemic among SIDS, to the extent that I hereby make a clarion call for a high-level meeting at the 80th UNGA to debate the threats of these weapons to peace and security and to devise effective solutions.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.